this episode of the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron, together we rise. Powered by the Island City Media Group, where the beach meets the streets. And this is your Hollywood radio show for personal development. And I am your host, Viliami Tuibai. Thank you so much for tuning in as we will be featuring Brother Ken Quarter, who is a community champion in the state of Idaho, the 208, and the regions abroad in Idaho, where he is bringing the fight to cancer. So many of us have a purpose. So many of us have a calling. So many of us have the opportunity to make an impact and a positive impact in the world. In that, we have Ken Quarter this evening just showing us what it is to figure things out from his childhood all the way up to where he is today as the director of the American Cancer Society in Boise, Idaho. I hope you enjoy the episode of this show and all of the life lessons it is that Ken Quarter will be offering for your consideration, and your boy, Coach V. Until next time, I will see you again soon. And now, a word from our sponsor.
My Free Pharmacy is the future of pharmacy today. We are a membership-based pharmacy headquartered in Ohio, and we ship door-to-door for your monthly prescription. My Free Pharmacy offers 91% of the most prescribed generic medications in the U.S. 87% of all prescriptions in America are filled with generic medication. At My Free Pharmacy, we are laser-focused on delivering medications Americans actually use. For a monthly subscription of $19.95 for individuals or $29.95 for households, we can ship all your generic medication with no shipping costs. Call us for a free analysis on how we can save your company or organization up to 40 to 60%. Sign up today at myfreepharmacy.com/join and get your generic prescriptions free with a paid monthly membership. Visit myfreepharmacy.com/join and start saving today.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Offering for your consideration through our featured guests and some of the insights it is that I offer that I have brought to Fortune 1,500 and 100 companies across the nation, and currently coaching, teaching, and training in 8 markets around the country. Today, here on Island City, where the beach meets the streets, we are so excited to have Brother Kenneth Quarter, and he goes by Ken. Everybody in the 208 calls him Ken, but he's Kenneth Quarter. And Ken is the Idaho State Director for the American Cancer Society, as the society reemerges in Idaho after a 3-year hiatus. He is responsible for the vision, the strategy, and the overall state operations. Prior to his current role, prominent career stops have included acting as the Regional Business Development Manager for a $4 billion credit union, Director of Public Information, and also in Education, and outreach for the Idaho Office of Highway Safety. And I've been to the Safety Summit with Brother Ken in the past. And then serving as a community liaison for the City of Meridian mayor's staff and spending 15 years in the elementary classroom. It was the latter when Ken found a passion for developing youth. He has been a youth football coach for more than a decade and was instrumental in expanding the teen-led Meridian Mayor's Youth Advisory Council to become the largest in the country. Career highlights include launching the nation's first government platform for Nextdoor.com, spearheading an award-winning rebrand of the Idaho Transportation Department's behavioral programs, winning the Idaho Governor's Brightest Star Award with the Mayor's Youth Council, and creation of the City of Meridian's Do the Right Day of Compassion. Born and raised in the 408, shout out San Jose, Ken and his wife Megan have 5 children, relocated to Meridian, Idaho in 2006, spending time with his children and attending the multitude of athletic events, just like the Tuivais do. We got 4 sports this fall: weight training, hiking, gardening, river rafting, and exploring the gem state of Idaho. Welcome to the Coach V Show, Ken Quarter. Brother Ken, welcome to the Coach V Show.
Coach, it's wonderful to be with you, sir. Man, love the energy. Let's get going, Coach.
Let's roll, baby. Hey, so start us off. Let's talk about your Genesis point, being a Cali boy, surfer boy, San Jose. Let's start there in the very beginning. Tell us what the beginnings are and the Genesis point for Ken Corder.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Coach, like you mentioned, born and raised in the 408. Still have all of my family out there in San Jose. I'm the lone wolf who moved out here to Idaho. So much love to California, all my friends and family out there. Coach, tremendous childhood. Living in San Jose in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, I just aged myself a little bit. Was phenomenal. It was a unified community. We had the beach over the mountains. So I grew up surfing the waves of Santa Cruz, body surfing, skimboarding, chasing the girls at the beach boardwalk, you name it. I had a great childhood there. It wasn't all perfect. There was a lot of challenges along the way. I had some health stuff as a kid. But those are all the ingredients of what you do now, Coach. So, yeah, phenomenal childhood. I went to high school out there, college, and then made the move out here after I followed some of my brothers out here.
That's awesome. Introduce us, your parents, your siblings, how many siblings? And let's start with elementary school, junior high. Where did you go?
Certainly, yeah. So first off, I'm junior, so I was born to Ken and Pat Corder. Tremendous parents. If my mom hadn't passed this last year, they'd still be married. So what a tremendous example for me and my sister. I was born with a sister as well. So my sister, two amazing parents who did the best they possibly could to bring us up. Stable home. I mean, I'm one of the blessed ones, Coach. As an early guy, I went to Allen Elementary School right there in San Jose.
Yeah.
Loved it. I'll tell you what, I was the awkward kid in elementary school, Coach. I was the tallest kid, always the tallest kid. You're always in the back row on the school photos. I had the Coke bottle glasses, the weird haircut. I was a little awkward in my own skin. Which now, I love being the big guy and, being that, but it was awkward, Coach. Now you couple that with the fact that in the 80s, what were we all wearing, man? I was wearing the Michael Jackson red jacket with the zippers.
I see you. I see you.
A little awkward, man, but luckily I had an older sister who gave me a roadmap to what was cool, or at least help me, acclimate to, to the culture at the time. So she paved the way a little bit. Yeah. So after elementary, I went to John Steinbeck Middle School. And Coach, I'll tell you what, man, that's right when the skateboard culture hit Cali and the world. And so, man, I wanted to be the next Tony Hawk, Steve Caballero, Mike McGill. And so, man, I was Mr. Bones Brigade's skateboarder all the way. And your boy can even skate to this day, Coach. I'm 6'5", 230, and I could still do an ollie, a grind, a drop in on a half pipe, you name it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, no, great childhood. High school, I'll tell you what, Coach, I'll tell you, as I look back on my life, high school is really where I cut my teeth in terms of having a little bit of confidence about myself. I wasn't the most confident kid growing up. And so I look back, and that's really a starting point for my career,
right.
Was starting to believe in myself a little bit, instead of basing, my own personal thoughts on shame. So I certainly grew a little bit in that high school realm,
Yeah. And so, man, shout out to Brittany and Sam Bailala for allowing my family and I. So we had no idea about San Jose. So we were just there a couple weekends ago. Silver Creek Country Club. Holy smokes. That place blew me away, Ken. We even went to that one house, the Haunted Mansion one down in San Jose. What was that called, Ken?
The Winchester Mystery House.
The Winchester Mystery House. Made so much money because they sold the Winchester rifles. She moved over from the Midwest out here and just kept on building rooms because of running away from spirits. And
yeah,
San Jose is, when I was with Boise State, we'd fly into San Jose and play games all the time, but I never really got a feel of how amazing San Jose is. Down the street, just south of Stanford University, just south of the city on the 101. And I really fell in love with it. Now, I really fell in love with Silver Creek Country Club. I mean, that place is high class. And so I really do have a different perspective of San Jose than if I would have interviewed you before right now. So talk about your transition, and now that you're a little bit older, getting more confident, talk about some of the life lessons that San Jose taught you in particular prior to going to college and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing in San Jose is you take your own destiny in your own hands. I mean,
Mm,
it's the Silicon Valley, it's the land of
right,
opportunity. And if you don't bubble up, you're not noticed. And so, I mean, you take your own destiny in your own hands there, coach. And so, you know, you do that with the people around you. The high tide rises all the boats, right? And so, if you serve others in that community, it's going to come back to you tenfold. And that's frankly what I did. But it's such a big community, and
yes,
it's so asset and resource rich, but you have to navigate that yourself. I mean, if you're
mm,
lucky enough to have a coach like yourself who can act as that tour guide to bring you to those resources, more power to you. But I mean, I'm the first person in my family, coach, to graduate from college.
right,
And in
right,
order to do that, there was a lot of the unknown. In that junior year, no one told me I was supposed to go tour colleges.
right, 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 right,
It wasn't
right,
a thing.
right.
My senior year in high school, coach, I was a big time football player. I had all these D1 offers. No one told me, Ken, you should put a film together. Or hey, maybe you should reach out to these colleges. I ended up going to college and paying for it, coach.
Right.
So there was a lot of growth led by my parents. They did the best they possibly could, you know, but I also had to navigate that myself a little bit in terms of self feeding. No one was going to sign myself up for college. I had to do it. So, I wanted to take my family tree and expand it and be the bright spot on there. No disrespect to my family, but I felt the calling of my life when I was 2 years old, coach, and I've never lost that feeling. And I just wanted to realize it even in high school. So that's why, I was definitely wired a little bit to self feed, find those opportunities myself, and then ram myself into them.
That's freaking awesome. And as you described that, I mean that's an accountability that all high performing and high performing leaders have. High performing culture is that you're accountable for you and that you figure those things out. Final word on that. Come on, Ken. Right?
Yeah, yeah. It's if you don't do it, no one will, and you can waste a lifetime waiting for it.
Real talk. That's some
Real
real talk.
talk.
Talk about college. Talk about college, going into college, and what are some life lessons that you learned from college? Please,
Well,
Ken.
I'll tell you, Coach, the first thing that I learned, and some of your leaders, I don't know how they're going to feel about this. This was my journey. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
right.
I went to college because it was the thing you're supposed to do in the progression of your education, right? So I go to college and I changed my major, what, 3, 4 different times because I had no clue what I was doing, what the flavorings that I had on my appetite, on my palate. I just didn't know. I mean, I look back and I go, that's a young, dumb kid right there trying to figure it out, investing a lot of money into something he didn't know. So I'm not saying don't go to college. What I'm saying is
Mm,
go to college when you have direction. It's okay to take
mm.
a year off from high school, but I mean, I've seen so many kids go to college because they're supposed to, and they burn out because their passion does not match what they're studying. That to me is just a recipe for a downfall.
Mm.
So I took the longer route to graduate college, but I finally figured out about 2 years into it what I was really passionate about. And coach, what I was really passionate about is I was born and raised into a highly populated Latino neighborhood. I was grandote growing up. I
Mm.
loved it, right? I mean, what a beautiful culture, coach.
Yeah.
And so as I navigate high school and then I get into college, I notice all these beautiful, beautiful ethnicities around me in the great melting pot that is the Silicon Valley, San Jose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I studied that, coach. I knew I wanted to be a teacher at this time because I had a knack for kids, but I wanted to learn from all these different beautiful ethnicities. So I studied that. So I studied sociology with an emphasis on ethnic relations and learning how our different cultures communicate, how they rear their children. And coach, that's when my passion took off. That's when I realized this is something that interests me. This is something that I can apply to the real world, where I can make a difference to the real world, but also supporting myself. I mean, that's the recipe for success, coach.
I love
So
that.
again, I got to say this, coach. I'm not saying don't go to college. What I'm saying is if you don't have a reason to go to college, hit the pause button and figure out why you're going there. That's all I'm saying.
No, I totally agree with that. And there's just a certain level of maturity that's needed to have that kind of freedom and to be able to have the discipline to have that type of freedom of going to college without somebody holding your hand, that you could be highly effective, efficient, and it just takes time. That's why so many of people that come back from the military after going to college and learn that level of discipline, consistency, respect, and ownership for their own life, they come back and they don't mess around. They graduate in 4 or 5 years, they get into a master's program, and they become highly effective and efficient. So I totally agree with that as well. Let's talk about professional life. So you
Sure.
graduate from college. How did graduating feel as the first person to graduate from your family? How did that feel? What kind of honor did that bring? And then what was the next steps in your journey?
Yeah, great questions, coach. I'll tell you what, it was a trail. I was a trailblazer at the time, and I didn't know it at the time, coach. I'm certainly well aware now as I look back at my life. Uh, I was trailblazing, and I was changing the family tree, and that's what
Mm.
I wanted to do. I mean, there's a lot of addiction, there's a lot of
Mm.
dependencies, things like that in the family tree. And it equipped me to change those and to change the whole scope and direction for the quarter family. So, coach, it felt amazing. Um, it was amazing to share that with my parents and the joy. And one of my favorite biblical verses is to honor your parents. And so
Hmm.
I really wanted to do that with that. Um, but it was the launch pad, coach. I mean, it was great knowledge. I certainly tap into it now, but now it's time to take the big degree, all the education, and get into the workforce. And so that translated into my first job right out of college was I was a teacher's assistant at a private school
Hmm.
and fell in love with it, coach. Knew I had a knack for educating those kids. I can just connect with them. I think part of it was because I was a big kid myself, coach. Still
Hmm.
am.
Hmm.
But I mean, that translated into a 15-year classroom career, all in the elementary sector. And I absolutely loved it. I was able to really develop some kids, really strengthen families in the community, and it was absolutely gratifying. The problem I had, coach, it was the life logistics that are part of that, which is my teacher's salary in the Bay Area. It's a kind of a shame to say this, but I couldn't support myself with what I was making at the time. It's a shame actually, and I know there's been tremendous strides with that and
Right.
equitable pay for our teachers, and hallelujah for that.
Right.
But yeah, right out of the gate, I was in the classroom. I was grinding with the kids. And coach, I'll tell you something. It's a while gone. It's in the rearview mirror in my career now, in terms of my launch for my career. But those kids are now getting married. They're having babies themselves, and some of these kids were in kindergarten, coach. And I
Wow.
still have relationships with these kids. In fact, I was just asked to be to officiate one of the weddings for one of my past students. Kind of fun.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it was all about impact. I mean, that's when I learned at an early age this whole thing called life, this whole thing called a professional career really boils down to one thing, which is the relationships that are a part of it. I don't care
Mm.
where you go, what you do, it's all relationships. It is.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So let's talk about um, what allowed you to be so successful and graduate, um, and then now find something that you're going to build on and progress and get better at? How did you do that?
Graduate, are you talking again from high school, or excuse me, from
Nope,
college, Coach?
college. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, really, I wish I had some magic answer for this question. I'll tell you what, Coach, it was a series of events that, fortunate for me, really drove me to just better myself. So I graduated from college. I have this degree. I'm now in the classroom. I'm doing some amazing things with these kids. I look back and I'm happy. I'm proud of what I did. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing. But Coach, I can tell you, along the way in the classroom, towards the end of my career, I met a beautiful woman, beautiful on the inside, on the outside, who's now my spouse. Her name's Megan. And I met her. She was doing some amazing things in her career. And Coach, I knew if I have any chance with this woman, I got to level up.
Mm.
And so it really took me from getting by to really wanting to be the best at something, whatever it is. And it drove me because I had to lead my wife. I had to serve my wife, but she also came with 2 kids, man. I had to be a dad overnight.
Right.
And if I don't perform at work, I'm not going to bring home the cheddar to my family. I'm not going to feel good about it. And what kind of example am I to those children and my wife? So that motivated me to want to it just launched out of a cannon after that. Coach, I wish I could say at that time I was so motivated. You know what I was doing, Coach? I was a teacher by day. I was a drummer in a band at night. And I was doing great in life, but it was very me centric. And when I brought on that wife and those amazing kiddos into my life, the blinders went off and I was like, this is bigger than I am. I got to love it. And that's what I did.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And you speak so much about faith in all that we do together. I mean, we've been working together for years now.
It's been a privilege, Coach.
And, we've done everything from the Youth Summit. We've done the Idaho Transportation Summit. You're with them. And then you're always talking about faith. Talk about the life lessons. And, you hear me say it all the time, this unmerited and undeserved favor for me has been in large. I mean, I work hard. I do have a certain anointing on my life that has allowed me these natural talents. I've had to better it and develop it. But there has been so much of this unmerited and undeserved favor in my life that has really transpired and connected me to where I am today. What about that for you and your faith? How would you talk about the life lessons for that have gotten you to where you are today?
Oh, Coach, phenomenal question. Coach, as I look back in my life, I see the fingerprints of our Lord and Savior on virtually everything in my life, from near-death experiences to meeting my wife, to certain doors being shut or open, or addictions being put down. I look back and I'm like, I could not have done it by myself. And Coach, he was with me every step of the way, and sometimes I never knew it. But he kept showing up in my life, even when sometimes I didn't want him there. And Coach, I'll tell you something. When someone said this to me, it changed everything. The golden book, the Bible, right? That's the book I'm reading right now, by the way, because readers are leaders and leaders are readers, right, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
When someone told me, Coach, that book was written for me and not for us, it changed everything. In other words,
say that again, please.
When someone told me that the Bible was written directly for me, it changed everything. The fact that Jesus would write this love letter directly to me and you, me and we, as you like to say, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Right? But when you can apply it to your life, I'm not talking like, wow, look what the book of Acts tells us. No, Look what the books of Acts tells me.
Mm.
That changes everything, brother. It really does. It's like, man, he's watching everything I'm doing. He's sitting right next to me. And by the way, the Spirit just zapped me, coach.
Yes, sir.
So as I look back, there were times I wanted to throw the towel in, coach. I worked for the mayor's office early on in my career. I was a fish out of water. And I'll tell you something, I was the faith liaison for the city. It was one of the hats I wore for the mayor. I'm walking into City Hall one day, coach. I'm walking in with the local pastor. I'm telling him about my plight. I shouldn't be here, man. I'm not getting along with the mayor's chief of staff. I have no idea what I'm doing. I shouldn't be here. Doubt, 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 doubt. Man, he looked at me, and it was almost like Jesus had taken the wheel in this man's body and said, do not leave. And when and it was powerful, coach. It was one of those moments where you'd go, wow, man, God was like in that guy's body, out of body experience or something. But I stayed, coach. And wouldn't you know, it was almost like days later, I went from this unsure, wet behind the ears city servant to, man, everything I was touching was turning to gold. But those were not my fingerprints, man. Those were the Lord's fingerprints. So I allowed the Lord to take the wheel from then on. And coach, as I look back at my career, man, I've been able to do some amazing things. I've had a lot of lessons along the way, but anything good I've ever done is not by my will. It's through the will of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. I just got to say it.
Amen and amen. That is awesome. So let's talk about where you are now and taking on another passion of yours.
Sure.
Because of some of the impacts that cancer has had on your family,
Sure.
and as the director there for the Idaho ACS. Let's talk about that.
Sure. Well, coach, as you know, we've been in discussions about partnering together yet again. And to your viewers, I will say this: stay tuned. Big things are coming in Idaho. Well, in the world. Coach, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I don't know if I'm here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's one of those. So I started in my current perch in May, but let's backtrack a little bit here. Last year in September, my dear mother passed, and she passed on from cancer. If she was here today, she would tell you she did it to herself. She was a smoker.
Mm-hmm.
And coach, I saw the beginning of that. I dealt with her smoking. I was a sickly child because she smoked in with me in utero. And so I saw the smoking all through her life, and she tried to quit numerous times, and she fought valiantly. This woman was a saint, coach. Love my mom. I mean, rest in peace. What a beautiful soul. But coach, I saw the beginning, the during, and the aftermath of losing my mom. I saw her on her deathbed. The day she passed away, coach, she was literally skin and bones. I mean, I'm talking literally skin and bones. If anyone's ever seen that, it's not pretty. It's not the way I remember my mom, but that's the reality. And so, wouldn't you know, coach, at that time in my career, I was just winding down my career with the credit union. You see, I was at the credit union selfishly when the CEO tapped me on the shoulder. Her name is Connie Miller. She's a big-time CEO in the Boise region here. She tapped me on the shoulder and said, I'd love for you to lead these business development efforts as we launch this big credit union in town. Hey, let's do it. I did it because she was a mentor. She had skills that, could teach me, take me to the next level that I did not have. But she retired. So here I am at this crossroads, coach. I know that the credit union thing's it's not the end all for me. I was passionate about it, and credit unions are phenomenal because they're of service. Love them. But at the time, I knew, hey, you know what? It's time to maybe look elsewhere. My mom passed, and then I'm recruited by the American Cancer Society. I mean, uncanny. Well, I'm also recruited by 2 other large companies. I had a great problem, coach. I had 3 companies all asking me to come work for them. I mean, it's a cool problem to have, right?
Yes.
But ultimately, coach, after some prayer, after really navigating, what the next steps were for my family, it was very obvious the ACS is where I'm supposed to go. And so now I lead the efforts here as we relaunch in Idaho. We haven't been here for a couple of years. I now know, coach, in my perch, as I look back, all the ingredients that have been poured into me from either the Lord or people like yourself or friends or people who challenged me or coached me or criticized me. Couple that with my journey as an infant Christian to now someone who's gaining some spiritual maturity, to then being equipped to know what it's like to lose someone. Coach, I don't think there's anyone better to lead the organization in Idaho than me. I'm saying. So I'm here. I'm boldly proclaiming we are going to take Idaho to the next level because, coach, people are hurting. And you know what happened, coach? A lot of people don't realize this. COVID impacted everyone in a multitude of ways. But one thing people don't realize for those 2 years of us shutting down everything is we shut down cancer screenings.
Right.
Yeah, coach, cancer screenings from the COVID pandemic dropped cancer screenings up to 90%.
Right.
So what you're going to see in where you live, where I live, across the globe, my friend, is unfortunately we're going to see
increase.
We're going to see the increase of stage 4,
of
fatalities, of those types of things. So do I feel equipped to come alongside those people representing a global nonprofit and then applying it at the personal level? Damn right, coach. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't look at this as the ACS applying what we do to the masses of people. I view this as the ACS applying it to each individual in Idaho to meet their individual needs. It's a lot of work. I'm building quite the team to do it, coach. So it's an exciting time in Idaho for that. Yeah.
That is awesome. So let's take the multitude of these experiences that you have mentioned throughout this last 29, 30 minutes. And let's now format that. Like, what is Kenneth Corder's message to the world? What would be that message?
Coach, I got a few. So why don't I just unpack them here a little bit?
Yes, sir. Please.
Right. Yeah. So these are my, as I ponder our discussion today, Coach, I want to give your viewers some value. And if they can learn anything from me, who better to provide a roadmap to success than someone who has screwed it up a whole bunch of times?
Right on.
And Coach, I got to say, I read that in a book, The Warrior Book, from my friend Garrett White. He said that. I can't say I coined that phrase, but man, it resonated.
Because, me too. Yes, sir.
As you like to say, Coach, a lot of successes and wins in life, but I'm also not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to try things and fall flat on my face and get up, peel myself off the mat and go again, So Coach, here's some isms that I'll share with you and your viewers and your friends and your family. Number one, invest eternally. I mean, man, we are here for a vapor. And last time I checked, the Lord, he claims himself to be, he declares himself to be the great I am, the Alpha and the Omega. He's never not been in existence, and that will never not occur either, right? And so because of that, you want to spend your 80 years to 100 years on earth, or do you want to invest eternally? So I'll say that first and foremost. Second is this, Coach. Love is a feeling. Hey, that's great. Wonderful. But Coach, I think love is actually a verb. And we need to love people even when perhaps they're not lovable. And when you do that, Coach, you find your own love. So that's huge. In my marriage, there are times when I love my wife. I may not like her at the time, and vice versa. And I'm sure it's a lot more for her, coach. But those are the times when you crank up the love as a verb even more, and man, I've reaped the benefits of that. So love is a verb. Act on it. Okay. The next thing, coach, I'll tell you for you and for your viewers to digest is I do believe people need to have core values. What is it about you? Like, what do you stand for? Some people will call that a moral compass. Some people will just say, hey, here's, these are the three things I stand for, but make sure you are at least aware of what yours are. So for me, coach, mine are a little cliche, but they work for me. Mine is faith first, family second, community third. Now, coach, you're going to notice there's a very distinct lack of a word in what I just said. That's my job or education or work. That is not one of my top three. And the reason why is what I produce in work is a byproduct of my three core values. Right? So what I do at home is going to impact me at work and vice versa. There's a yin and yang on that, which leads me to my next point, coach. When people claim they can separate their work life from their home life, good luck to you. I don't know how that happens. I can't. My brain cannot compartmentalize things. And coach, I'll even dare to say those people who say, oh, I can separate those two. Can you? If you're a counselor and you're going to go counsel someone in the morning tomorrow at 8 a.m. and you got into a verbal spat with your spouse right before, somehow that's going to impact your ability to do your job that day. It may be it may be a kernel or it may be massive, but I don't believe we can separate those two. So in other words, square away your home life to have success at work and vice versa. Coach, I learned this the hard way because at one point I was taking my own wife and family for granted. I was so ingrained in my career that simple things like returning a text message to my wife were driving wedges. Little things that I thought were little became big rocks in a bucket full of water that was making that water come out of that bucket. And guess what? When the water's empty, so are you. Right? And so it's huge to have that. Coach, another thing that I really, really, really believe people can find value in is being honest. Imagine that one, Coach. Coach, another quote I heard from the Warrior book, again, credit to Garrett White, the author, is this. The person who tells the truth is the most powerful man or woman in any room they walk in. That's powerful stuff, man.
Yeah. So
you want to know where you stand with me? Just ask you because I'm going to tell you. Now, you might not like it, and that's okay. That's okay. But I'll tell you right now, I don't have to remember the lie at the end of the day. Right? And guess what? I can feel confident because at least I know right, wrong, indifferent. At least you know where you stand. It makes life easier when you tell the truth. That's another one there, Coach. All right. The other one, Coach, is this. Got a couple more. Sorry. Can you tell?
No. It's your feature. Come on, bring it.
Seek and share wisdom, Coach. You know, it drives me crazy about the American culture. What do we do with our older folks, our seasoned citizen? What do we do? Put them on the shelf? Put them in a home? Don't tap into them? Tell them how cute they are? Give them a gold watch after 30 years of service? No, man. Look at what other cultures do in our world. The elders are the ones that lead the village. They are tapped into for that wisdom. We don't do that enough, Coach. An older person is waiting to impart their wisdom on you. Just ask. And man, you know how much of this we are asset rich in our culture? How many senior citizens are sitting there waiting to tell you the gold nuggets that can take you and your endeavors to the next level? Man, untapped. So tap into it, man. So I'll tell you right now, I've had not only just a heyday applying lessons I learned from older folks, it's a lot of fun doing it too, Coach. And you know what? When you can actually spend some time learning, you know how much value it brings to these folks, how much joy it brings to their lives. It's just something I think it's a travesty in our culture. We need to tap into those seasoned people a lot more, truly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, the next thing, this is something this is one of the things that I do to raise my children, Coach. In a world, I sound like I'm gonna preview a movie right now. Um, in a world where perhaps we're a little divided, or the messaging that we hear from our phones and from the media, etc., is, man, it's bad and everyone's evil and you're against each other and all these things. There's a little bit of a divisive perception out there. So, Coach, this is something food for thought for you and your viewers. Is this kindness is a numbers game? What I mean by that, Coach, today you're the second person I've interacted with. After this, I have one more meeting, then I'm going to go coach some football. Okay, that's 4 or 5 interactions I'm going to have all day long. That's it. Can I crank up the kindness for those 5? I think I can. So in other words, to my youngest, his name is Cole. Hey Cole, let me give you something to think about as you go to school today. You're gonna go to the bus stop. You're gonna interact with your friends. Be kind. When you get on the bus, you're gonna say hi to the bus driver. They may say hi to you back. Be kind. When you get in class, the teacher's gonna talk to you. Be kind. You get home, you go to football. Be kind. It looks different in all those things. But what I'm saying, Coach, is there's not a lot of opportunities each day to screw that up. If you're kind one day and then the next day, wow, you've put 2 days of kindness together. You do that for a week, hey, that feels good. You do that for 4 weeks, that's a month, 6 months to a year. You can build a lifetime of quantifying kindness. It's actually not hard to do. It really is not. So each interaction, each day, they are not infinite. They're usually under 10 interactions a day, sometimes under 5. Is it really that hard to be kind to people, to understand? And you know what? If you have differences with them, ask them, talk about it. Don't just judge people. So kindness is just a numbers game, Coach. It's pretty simple. Yeah. That's what I got, Coach. And then last thing is every single person on God's green earth was given abilities, God-given gifts. And when you work in your purpose, in God's purpose, man, the outcomes are usually good. Don't fight it. Do not fight it.
I love that. So for the viewers out there, number 1 is invest eternally. And so Taro Makuni here in town, I don't know him, but I follow him. You know, he has a saying that says, today is good, eternity is better. And so when you said that, that's the very first thing I thought about. I love that. That's number 1 for the viewers out there. And I say this all the time, and you're saying it as well, is that, you know, success and love are a noun that work better as verbs, because without action, love and success are just words. So yours is love is a verb. 3 is, you know, your core values. And for you, that's faith, family, and community. So core values in that each and every one of us, to our listeners out there. I also call it, as a success coach and a life coach, is to know your mission statement. So then when it's connected to that, you don't wake up trying to figure out what to do. And if you haven't, you look at your mission statement. For me, my mission statement for the company is to impact positively how people think, how they feel, what they do, how they see things, and how they say things, so that they can now work to be their best and live their best life. Right. So I have a mission statement for my company, for myself individually, and then also my family. And then that way I'm always knowing the direction that I should go. So I love the core values things,
Love
you know,
it.
square away the home life. And I teach, coach, and train that Workflow is designed by the 14 calendar dates, along with birthdays, anniversary, and spending time with the people you love that create tremendous synergy and workflow into the work life, not the other way around. So
yes,
we're right there. I
yes,
love the be honest thing, which is hard to do when you're trying to impress people, but when you're aligned and congruent with yourself and you're being real, then you don't have to not tell things to try to impress other people, and they will appreciate you for who you are. I love that. Seek and share wisdom, man, that's universal. And elders, it's interesting because in a lot of cultures, the kids eat first. In the Polynesian culture, the elders still eat first, right? And then we eat after the elders. And there's just a protocol to that, protocol and procedures in different cultures. But I love that because there's what I call in the empowerment to success, right? These vital knowledge transfer keys that we can lose within the company, organization, or team should we not tap into that, or the best practices that they have for the industry, or for our elders, the wisdom that they have to translate and transfer to us, or we lose them forever, or at least the way that they convey it, the semantics and the wording in which they say it. I love that. And then kindness is a numbers game. And my daughter made the volleyball team this week. And then I told her, like, if you want to level up, you got to serve other people. You got to encourage your team.
yeah,
You got to create an environment where everybody feels like they love being there, and the kindness thing, right? And I asked her, how many people did you help today?
yeah.
Yeah, first off, they're going to listen to you because you're one of the best players on the team. So if you're making a bunch of mistakes, nobody's going to listen to you. But once you are that person, come on, Ken, right?
Yep.
The fact that this girl is helping me, a seventh grader, when she doesn't need to, that's pretty awesome. And that creates an awesome culture, right? And then live out God's purpose. And when I subscribe, when people were telling me I was crazy, right? Come on, Ken. They're like, you're going to leave Boise State? I got demoted from being the linebacker coach, recruiting coordinator, to be the director of football operations. And I started to figure some things out when I wasn't on the grind. I'm like, you know what? I have a feeling that God is saying that what your impact is shouldn't just be for 110 players and a coaching staff and a program and a community. It might be for the world. What a concept. What a concept. And then for a person to believe in that. And so every day I'm struggling with my own self-doubt. But then when I do so, the level of success that I attract because of God's unmerited and undeserved favor. Yep. What a powerful list, Ken. Thank you. That message to the world. Okay, for everybody that I have invited coming on the show, we have done leveled up. So everybody gets the script. Everybody gets the script that I'm going to be asking this question that, okay, what is your message to the world? Well, there was a bar, and Ken Corder just reset the bar. So if you're watching this and I've already invited and you're on the calendar for coming to the show, you better come ready, because my man brought 8 life-changing lessons. This is a 8-step framework. There's a path here that my man just goes, hey, my message is this. And it's just not general. He didn't just wing it when he got on the show. He was ready. So I really appreciate that, Ken. Any final thoughts on this list, and we'll move forward? And we got about 11 minutes, and we're going to
Coach, I got to tell you, it's driving me nuts that it's only 8. I got to get to 10 here. I got to get to 10 here. So let me add 2 more things that I think have benefited me, Coach. Number 1, be self-aware.
Okay.
So I say this to my wife a lot. You need to understand, this is also known as emotional intelligence, Coach. But you need to understand the way the world sees you. I say that because I'm 6'5", 260 pound, all muscle. Just kidding. It's a dad bod. But
hashtag real talk.
But no, Coach, I need to know that, because at one point in my career, I almost did not get a job because the guy said, you're too big, you're going to scare people.
Right.
That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy talk, because I'm a teddy bear. Right. So ask your friends, for an unfiltered, how do you see me? So it's really key, because there's a lot of stereotypes out there of the big oafy dude, you know, and I have no rhythm. I'm a drummer in a band, bro. I could dance. I ain't gonna dance for your team, you know.
Right,
Um,
right.
so coach, there's that, and then the last piece is this. This is something. No matter what you do in the business world, this is for the business world now. If you are 100% in line with someone you're about to do business with, you might be setting yourself up for issues. And the reason why I say that is if you need two people who agree to launch a business and they have the exact same ideas, why do you need two people?
Right.
So you want people who are going to challenge you, who are going to coach you, who are going to criticize you. And when that happens, do not take it personal. Have a thick skin. Because somehow in our culture, man, when you coach me, it's criticized, and I'm going to mutter something under my breath to you, coach, or about you. No.
Right.
People who say that typically care about you because they see something you don't and want you to get better. Now we're at 10, coach. We can move on.
Hey, people laugh all the time too, because right, when I talk about self-awareness, I talk about 7 aspects, right? Sure. Personal, familial, spiritual, professional, financial, relational, and mental, right? And I'm like, hey, Tony Robbins, I stand on his shoulders. You know, John Maxwell, Stephen Covey, but they got way more than 7. But my ass can't remember much more than 7 when I'm in front of 5,000 people, right? So, I mean, this 10 list is great, right? Especially if you can reference it. But man, I always try to keep it as simple as I can, not because to keep it simple is stupid, but I think keeping it simple is smarter, right? So to having a 10 list, I think that's doable. But when we start going like 21 steps, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Man, because I want to be, I'm always trying to be the master of my speech. And when I go up on stage, if I got to look at a PowerPoint, man, that's going to really impact the energy and the level of focus that I can engage the audience in. But I love this 10. I love these. I really do. In that, Ken, let's talk about major projects that you're launching right now that you can share. Take about a minute, please.
Absolutely. So right now, you know, let's talk about the American Cancer Society. That's clearly what I'm working on right now, Coach. We're building out the board of directors of some amazing folks here in the 208. Getting ready to launch the big, the inaugural board meeting in September. So that's really exciting. As we relaunch in Idaho, Coach, we already have a gala planned called Champions of Hope. We are going to be tapping into some of the great athletes, champions of the community here in Idaho for a night to raise the critical funds that we need to research and find a cure for cancer, to improve the screening rates that are abysmal in Idaho, and surround the patient, the 360 of the patient, with the resources they need. We'll do this by a gala and the community coming together. Again, the Champions of Hope is the theme. It's the vehicle. You know what, Coach? I'm going to have to come out and join me on that one too. Plan on having some of the Boise State greats. Again, some of the local champions here. It's going to be a night of love and honor and remembrance and fun. I mean, you can have fun in this too, and community. And, you know, Coach, Idaho needs it. We need some hope, especially after the pandemic. A lot of people are moving here. The time's now. And so what happens between now, Coach, and then that gala is the service. It's that lump of clay. It's that service clay that the board and myself and our team get to mold. So, you know, Coach, there's a great unknown that's coming on, and I couldn't be more excited about that, because the bottom line is this: we will impact the Idahoans that need it. There's rural Idahoans, Coach, believe it or not, who cannot get to the Boise region because they don't have a place to stay or the financial means to get there. Right. Coach, you know what's crazy, Coach, about cancer in 2022 is that your genetic code is not as important as your area code.
Say that again, Ken.
Coach,
say that again.
Your area code is more important for your survivability of cancer than your genetic code. And we are sitting here in 2022, Coach.
Yeah.
That's insane. There are people in the 408 in California, across the country and the world who can be cured or can find a cure or get that early screen. If we can find a way to get them in a car and get them 50 miles to their left or right, that's insane to me, Coach.
Yeah.
Those are items that can be fixed immediately, and that's what we are planning to do here in the Gem State. We have folks out there hurting, and we're going to get them in here, get them care.
Yeah, shout out to the leaders. I'm always looking at how people hire other people, especially NFL coaches, head football coaches at the college level, because I have some insight and experience in that. And then hiring championship people, right? Shout out to the ACS for hiring a champion, a community champion, and one that will really carry the flag, but then also do the detailed work, the monotonous grind to bring together two things: relationships and revenue. Man, you can find people who can talk the talk, but if they can't do love and if they can't do success as a verb, like action, activity, performance, and execution. So shout out, as we go into your shout out to everybody who's part of the ACS that hired this cat. My brother, he don't know he's half Tongan and I'm half San Josean. We are brothers from another mother and part of God's family. So shout outs. What are your shout outs? Ken?
First and foremost, Coach, this is an easy one. All the glory goes to the Lord and your Lord and Savior, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Amen. My friend. I mean, absolutely nothing without him, period. Train wreck saved by grace.
Amen.
Coach, but other than that, I'll tell you something. I wouldn't be here talking to you if it was not for Megan Corder,
right?
My beautiful spouse. I'll tell you what, I always refer to her as God's sneaker because she kicked my ass, my friend. She did. She brought me she pulled me up from the river of despair, my friend. And she reflected Christ's love first to me. And it was because of that I was able to 180 my life. And now become equipped to lead her and the kids that I have been honored to lead in the families, etc. So my beautiful spouse, my friend. Third, Coach, well, I got two more. I got to give a shout out to the single moms and the fathers in the game. Because, Coach, as I navigate the world, my friend, there are so many people doing it by themselves.
Right.
You were blessed, too, to do it with a mate. But I'll tell you right now, as I was thinking about this, Coach, my wife was a single mom with two kids when I married her. You talk about the grind, man, she was falling asleep behind the wheel because she was working so much, trying to do everything for those kids. So shout out to the single moms and the dads in the game.
Right.
And then, Coach, lastly, selfishly, I got to say this. I am only here because I was fortunate enough to have mentors like Mayor of Meridian, like the chief of staff of Meridian, like the leader of the transportation department, like Connie Miller, the CEO, who saw something in me, Derek Bowles, who changed my life, Coach Viliami Tuavai, who said, Ken, people believed in me when I didn't. And I'll tell you, Coach, I thank them now. My heart is full of gratitude for those people. And you know what? Those are the stepping stones to the next steps, Coach. That's it.
Very good. Very good. So welcome, everybody. If you're just tuning in or just tapped in either on YouTube, on Spotify, or here on the Dash Radio app, following Island City, powered here by the Island City Media Group. We're on with the ACS Director of Idaho, Ken Corder, who is a great friend of mine and a brother. We have fellowshipped for almost a decade now as we move into 2023. We've got some big things ahead and just really serving people. Because I know this, if serving is below you, high-level leadership and high-level success is above you too. And that's not because Ken or Coach B says so. This is what life, leadership, and business tells us all. We have time for two questions. And the first question is a football question. Let's talk about your son, man. How's he doing? He's balling. I'm watching all his videos, man. Interception. Is he as tall as you? And then, like, where's he interested in going to school in the future? Let's talk about that. You got 45 seconds.
All right, Coach. Well, it is an absolute joy to watch this kid play a game that we both have just fallen in love with. It's organic in that it's his national passion. He is 6'3", a walking muscle, Coach, and I take zero credit. My wife was an all-world soccer player, so he might get the height from me. The tenacity, speed, looks, everything good came from Mom, Coach.
Right,
and Coach, in terms
right.
of where he's going, I can say this, Coach. I can't name schools yet.
Yep.
But the phone's starting to light up a little bit, Coach.
Yeah.
Starting to light up a little bit. We'll see what happens. You know, I mean, a lot of things have to line up to go to that next level. But as I mentioned, Coach, he's utilizing the gifts that he was given. I mean, it's very obvious it's a talent for him. I've seen him use it for good. He's a leader, and so it's just amazing to be on the sideline, Coach.
Very good. And here's a big question for all the hashtag foodie people. I mean, so many people, especially here in Northern California, the 916, the 510, over in the San Francisco area, the 408, everybody's asking me, man, did you like Boise? I want to move to Boise. I was like, first off, nobody in Boise wants you to move there. Can I talk some real talk? Secondly yes, it's an amazing place. Treasure Valley is just a special place. Boise State, in my opinion, is just not great because of the players and the coaches that have come through there. But arguably, it is a fan base that saw the only college program in the last 50 years that has went from a junior college to a Division I football program.
Mm-hmm.
It has just been that town. It just really has, right? So, but in that, here's a foodie question. Sure. Okay, I get off at the airport, right? I'm like 4 miles from downtown Boise. Let's go. What is the number one place I need to eat at in Boise and the number one place I need to eat at in Meridian? Where is that?
All right. Oh, man. Coach, first of all, if I could stand up, your viewers would see that I got a little bit of a dad bod, which means I see food and I eat it, right?
Yep.
Oh gosh. So, Coach, Biscuits and Hogs is a new one.
Where's that at?
It's in Boise.
Okay.
It's absolutely just delicious. Okay. Unique menu items. I absolutely love that, Coach. But then, Coach, I'm all about the dive. And I don't want to say like the dive, like the restaurant dive. And gosh, I'm teeing this up wrong. I don't want to diss on this restaurant, but Coach, I know you know this place, Los Betos, man, for the breakfast burrito.
Oh man, Los Betos, shout out.
Yeah. I mean,
Remind me where Los Betos is.
Oh, they're all over the place now.
There's multiple chains now? Because before, wasn't it just in Meridian or am I off?
It was, I know Boise, Meridian, and Nampa, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boise, Meridian, and Nampa.
Yeah. But, Coach, to your point, though, Boise's definitely becoming a foodie town.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah. Coach, I got to tell you, actually, in my opinion, the best burger that you're going to find in the entire Treasure Valley, Friday nights, go to Meridian High School for their football games. What? I don't know what they do to those burgers, bro, but I always tell my friends there, I'm like, I'm here for the burger. Oh, and then there's a football game too. Great. Oh, my kid's playing. Cool. I go there for the burgers, Coach.
Oh, man, I could eat a burger for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I could also eat breakfast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snack, and dessert.
Likewise.
So thank you for that, man. Ken, thank you so much for coming on the show. Take 30 seconds. We're out of time. Luckily, sure. I know some people on the show, so they're not going to cut the show off, whether it's on live on the Dash app. Shout out to my boy Q, who's the CEO, and then also to Ammon Green, who's the COO, and for hiring me a few weeks ago as the president of the company. So we got 30 seconds. Give me a final on being on the show.
Coach, I just want to say thank you. It's an absolute opportunity and honor of mine to join you and your viewers. I just want to empower folks. The world may seem crazy, calm down, everybody, because we know who's still in charge.
Mm.
Everything is just fine. Okay. I just want to say that love one another. One love. We
One
need
love,
to
baby.
love more, my friend. Just love each other. All right. Humble yourself. Check the pride at the door. You're only here for a vapor. Just love everyone, man. Love and service.
I love that. I love that. So thank you to everybody who's tuned in here to the Coach V Show. And for this episode and every single week, Motivation Monday here at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Coach V Show, powered by Island City and broadcast from Dash Radio Hollywood Studios, Hollywood Boulevard. And so in that, shout out to my boy Ken. And for Ken and I, this is not just for the sake of just your success, but really for the sake that you be your best. In doing so, you realize the best of your abilities and that everything and anything that you dream, grind, pray, and work for can be achieved. This is how your boy Kenneth Corder and your boy Biliami Tuivai live, all about faith and family, grateful for God's amazing grace. Until next Motivation Monday, it is your boy Ken, your boy V. Until next time, one love, God bless. Peace.
One love.